Well, hello, I'm William WhiteCrow, your host, and welcome to Quantum Quest Radio, the show that entwines science, the spirit, and time itself to bring you closer to true reality. Today's show is sponsored by the Crow's Place store, and you can get to there by going to WilliamWhiteCrow.com, going to the upper menu and clicking on the Crow's Place store, where service and high-quality herbal products are the name of the game, and new products are being added all the time. Also, for NorthwestSafetyandSecurity.com, the place that takes your personal, home, and business safety and security needs seriously. If you go there, you can see they have dash cams, bug detectors, complete home surveillance systems, as well as battery-operated outdoor early warning systems for everything. Everything you can think of, really. Now, I usually do the news at this point, but I want to cut the news out today because I got a special guest today called Frank Castle, and he has a radio show called Fearless on Truth Frequency Radio. And he's an ayahuasca shaman, a neo-shaman. And I like that term because a shaman really learns from all different aspects of all different religions and things. We have to look at these things and then go within ourselves and our spirit. Now, the good thing here is all of us shamans have used, as we call our spirit helpers, our plants. And they've helped us in more ways than you could ever dream of. And I like what he says at the beginning of the show. These are my experiences. You know, everybody will have different experiences that are going on. We have to understand that when you're taking the shaman's journey, you're really giving up everything. You'll start finding synchronicities in your life. You start breaking your own barriers. You know, we all have barriers and our perceptions of death and things of this nature. Letting go of this perceived reality. And it's basically losing your fear. And at the same time, I'll have to say losing your religion, too. So here's Frank Castle from Fearless Radio on TruthFrequency.com. His show's on from Saturday from 9 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm telling everybody, you need to go listen to this man. He's really got some good things. Frank, I'd like you to introduce yourself a little bit here.
First, William, thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm very excited today. Getting to speak with another shaman is someone who has their feet grounded in this reality but yet knows what's happening. For me, it was like a whirlwind effect. Mm-hmm. I went from being like I had a federal job as a food inspector, and I was really good at my job. It was, food protection, safety, which was fantastic. And then I did music, and I was a hip-hop artist, and I was unfulfilled at my job. I was unfulfilled with my creations. And then I fell on my head one day at work, the one slip and fall that would send me down the rabbit hole of horrible injury, doctor to doctor, saying you're never going to walk again. I'm 42 years old. What do you mean I'm never going to walk again? Right? And it led me down the path to the plant medicines. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then my first experience, it was like a return home. It's still slightly confusing, but it's not. It's like my life was the confusing part.
Yes.
And they're like, no, you're a shaman in every lifetime. We're going to teach you and we're going to show you how to be a student again and listen. We're going to send you back to New York. The whole neo-shaman thing, being in New York City, there's everything here. I had no basis of grounding with what was about to occur, so I had to learn everything. And when you learn with the plants, they teach you at these. It's almost like my singer described it as 40 years of AA in the first hour of an ayahuasca session.
That's so very true. I had the same experience. With each step that I took, it was mushrooms, in the beginning, and the continuous steps up, because the people who were teaching me, the shamans who were teaching me, told me, you need to experience these things. These things are going to free you in ways you would never understand. Understanding the whole picture, not just that reality we've been taught, this matrix we've been taught to follow. What was the one thing, when you did your first experience with the ayahuasca, what was the one first thing that stood out to you?
What was going on actually in front of me looked like something right out of a comic. Mm-hmm. And I was like, but I know this. And I said, it would be this, wouldn't it? And then as the beings approached me, I started to remember them, and they pulled me out and immediately started fixing my neck. And I said, oh, really? And then they said, you don't remember? You don't look at me. And then I was like, wait a second, you're my best friend. You're my buddy too. I was like, I love you guys, and I was so confused. It was like being in a trip, waking up to both. Like, I'm like, what's going on here? And they showed me my body. They were like, dude, you're in a programmable flesh spacesuit. They were explaining it to me like a comic book because I had no basis. Like, I didn't know any of this. William, when I mean I went to Catholic school, the Egyptians and what they did were evil. Right? Moses had to go set my people free and all this. But what did he do? He came upon the burning bush. Well, the burning bush is the Acacia confucia plant. And then he went to Egypt and he set people free. I didn't understand the story. Like, growing up, they just teach it to you. What I learned was the Egyptians taught people how to use the Acacia confucia. It was a lot more beautiful than the way it was predicted, what it was shown to me from my Catholic upbringing. And I was like, wait, there's something going on here. This isn't right. You know, this is what unlocks it. So when I met the certain deities, I was like, you're real? Like, to me, you're just a character from the Scorpion King. You know, like, I'm serious. When I met Anubis, I didn't know what to do. I was just like, oh, this guy's going to eat me. I had no clue what was happening. So these are the weird things that would occur. And I was taking it from baseline. I had nothing but a Star Wars movie background and some Superman comic books. So what I was looking at was just unreal. And they started teaching me from step one. And then I started going, wait a second, but I know this already. And they're like, every lifetime you do this. You just weren't on your path.
Right.
You know? And they can't really interfere, but what they can do is whisper in your ear loud enough until you hear them.
I like what you said there, that they can't interfere. And that's very true. A lot of people don't understand that. You know, they think that they're going to take you by the hand and lead you all the way through things. No, you have to go through the experiences. You have to go through the understandings of what true reality is and the understanding of what and who we are. You know, I think
they just give you the knowledge. You don't get anything out of it. You have to experience it.
Very true. And it's very important for you to experience it because that is the number one way for a spirit being, for a human being, for anything to learn is experience. We can read it in a book, people tell us and everything, but until we experience it, it doesn't permeate our being. So we understand it right down to the root level. What fears did you lose when you started this journey? Because we all have fears, you know, when we're starting. Oh, what's going to happen? Is this going to be right for me? You know, what particular fears did you lose during this time?
It's funny, but I said to them, I have a fear of the water and sharks. And they laughed at me and said, no, you don't. You're not afraid of teeth, are you? And then they showed me the most frightening thing you can see. The most frightening. And I was like, wow. It looked like a piano of teeth that just came out of the darkness of space and emptiness that came to eat me. And then I said, well, you can't do anything to me. I'm the creator. And they said, see, you're not afraid of this. And I said, I think I'm afraid of tumbling out of control. I think I'm afraid of separation. I think any drug uses, and I'm not a drug user like that, but I was a hip-hop artist, so there was always stuff around. I always felt like I was missing something, and I was taking that into my body to try to get a feeling of something, of connectivity of some kind, because I'd get it when I played sports. There was a camaraderie, but then there was this separation still, and I couldn't find it there. Then there was the music group, and we had it for a few years, and then it completely crumbled apart, and I started thinking, maybe this isn't what it's meant to be. And they're like, no, you're connected, buddy. You're afraid you're going to die alone.
Yes.
And my ancestors, this is the only way to explain this, William, they were American Indian. They came to me, and they said, how can you be alone if we're all here with you? And I saw everyone that was connected to my DNA. And it was like my great-great-great-great-grandfather came to me, and he even said, you're one of the weirder warriors. When you get your eyes set on something, the fantasy aspect, you take off. So welcome back. And I shook hands that so many times that when I woke up out of it was like my second or third experiences, my girl said to me, you were shaking hands for 2 hours. You were just laying on your back with a smile, shaking hands with people. And I said, I'm not going to ever die alone. And I think that's a big fear because we don't know what's going on.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, and you have to. Death isn't even a good word. That's a loaded word, right?
Yes, it is.
Right, because we're just removing the spacesuit.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Death sucks when someone takes a life, or if an accident occurs, and you know. But they're waiting right there. Some of them are doing their own thing. I noticed that the veil is, when it's very thin, you can just see through it. You can see them stand. You could see at least the ones from your life standing there.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that are involved with you.
They're very true. You know, I get that experience all the time. My wife and I'll be walking. It can be in a store. I can be at home, be in the front yard or something, and I'll stop. And I'll start acknowledging, you know, I'm talking with an entity, with a being, with a spirit, however people wish to say that, you know. Personally, I've had 2 near-death experiences. I call them near-life experiences. And I learned real quickly, you know, that it goes beyond the plant then, at that time. My perception of reality when I came back was just like, whoa. Now, I've been practicing shamanism all this time. I get electrocuted in front of my family, 24,000 volts, 350 amps, zaps me, kills me. I was seeing my body and my wife coming out and pulling me away from the high tension line area, you know, where I got zapped and everything. But when I came back, you know, from the other side, I was full of knowledge, full of understanding. And even though I'd been on this journey, I was still confused a little bit. You know, been working and raising a family and everything, and I tried to hide from the shaman thing for a long time. But facts are, when it touches you, you can never hide from it again. You know, synchronicity started taking place in my life. That started bringing others to me and started bringing new realities and understandings to me. You know, it was changing their focus. I think it's really important that everybody out there understand about what just changing your focus can do. What do you think about that?
It stripped away everything that no longer suited me in my life. And I try to keep it simple so people understand it, because when I get too ultra fantastic, they go, oh, but I literally lost everything. Yes. But I realized in the pit of nothing, of having nothing, literally, I was going, how did I get here? And I wasn't doing drugs and messing up. I was doing good. I just wasn't on my path. Yeah. And I lost 100%. And Paula tells me this all the time. All you need is one person to believe in you. And it was like Aya stripped from me everything. And I didn't complain. I go, I didn't need any of this. Mm-hmm. Like, it literally doesn't need me, and I don't need it. And those people, and without hate, without a disgust at people, it was more of, thank you for what I've learned up to now, regardless of the hard lessons it might have been. And it's very hard to do this. You know, it sounds a lot easier when we're just like, yeah, forgive and forget and all that. No, I was like, you stripped everything away from me, but I trust you because I submit to you. You're like the only thing I submitted to. I'm a giant hulking man. I don't submit to you. I submit 100%. And when I don't, you work with me. When I think I'm at 100% and she tells me I'm at 2, she works with me still. She doesn't get angry and go, well, you're lying little pain in the butt. She goes, no, look, we're not going to waste one moment with you because you're here with us. So we're your teachers. But like you said, you know, they like loaded me with information. Like they put stuff inside of me that would unlock. So I had like the book knowledge. I said, how's anyone going to believe I could, like, this is going on? They're like, well, you don't really need them to, but we loaded the information how to make the plant medicines into you. Mm-hmm. So you could just go do it. But having the knowledge is way different than pulling it off. It took me, no joke, like half a year of just practice. And then one day it worked on me because I had to be the guy it worked on. But it's, you know, it's plants. So it's not going to hurt you.
That's right.
And then, boom, it worked. And they started going, you're back. Guess what? Here's more. See, if you watch basketball every day, you're like, yo, you start to feel like you can do that, right? But you get on the court with a guy that actually plays, he'll run circles around you. And you're like, but I thought I knew how to play. It's like, no, you know how to watch.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know how to play. You haven't been here. You're just watching the technical parts. You read it in a book. You didn't go out and perform it. Mm-hmm. This is called practicing. Well, so this is where I get, you know, yeah.
Yeah, it's very true. You know, I like what you said about practicing right there, you know. And it's very important for people to understand this is what it comes down to. For us to advance further, we have to trust. See, people have a hard time even trusting themselves. because of the things that's happened to them in life. And once we start understanding how to trust ourselves, then we start losing our fear, and we start stepping into different realms, other realms of understanding who and what we really are.
You know, Terrence was right when he said, Terrence McKenna, when he said, you meet your higher self and you think it's an alien when you meet it because we're so far removed from anything.
So true.
William, I don't know about you, but I cried. All right, Chris was with me. Cherie was with me. A few other people were there. And I looked right at him from the other side, controlling my body, screaming as I was jumping back and forth in and out, going, what did you do to me? Like, what did you do? And the beings were standing there going, stop jumping in and out of your body. Stop it. Yeah. And I'm crying and I'm holding him. And then I just gave out, like, that's it, I'm done. I can't believe I'm going to die right now and it's over and whatever. And I popped out and I started acting differently than the guy crying. And I said, oh, wait a second. All of that is releasing of fear, and it's like it's almost like even a happy cry. It went from really freaked out to like a happy, I'm back with my family.
Yes.
It's really weird to walk through this, to walk through that fire, to make that jump that Neo does in the Matrix and fall and not make the jump the first time.
That's right.
That's rough, man. That's the hardest thing I've ever done.
Very true.
You
know, I did the same thing. You know, you talk about the crying. Well, that's something we have to accept about ourselves. You know, at first it's like, oh my God, I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my perception, you know, and I use the God thing as a little g because I understand who we are and what we are, you know, but that first step is scary. I mean, it is frightening 100% to most people that are going to take it because it's the unknown. But we've been taught to fear the unknown, and that's some of the biggest problems in society right now. We've been taught to depend on something else, someone else, something outside of ourselves, instead of accepting who we are and understanding one thing, that this other realm, this other reality, which is this reality really, we just understand how to perceive it better. You know, once we start going through training and the plants help us, or whatever, however it happens with a particular individual. You know, and once we get to that point of understanding who we are, then we can start letting go and the happiness starts coming in. Because all those perceptions of fear and what's going to happen to us when we die that we've been taught through all the other religions and things. Oh, if you don't do what we say and it follows this line right here, when you die, oh, you're really in deep then, you know. You're going to burn in hell forever. Well, the fact of the matter is when we learn, we step past that. We understand that these things really don't exist.
Not only do they not exist, they exist if that individual decides that it exists, and then right. At any time it could stop existing when you stop believing. Right? When you had enough, when you see it. They see, I'm a guy that you have to show it to me. They showed me people dipping into darkness because they felt some self-loathingness on themselves for living an unrighteous life, so they opted to dip into the nothingness. I'm like, what is this ridiculousness? They're like, right? They're like, you don't do this. This is what you don't do, and you can pull yourself right out. They're like, you want the object, you want heaven? Is that what you want? Then smile and laugh and ground yourself and bring it to you. Right? I look at myself as the super unknown. Like when I meet things, I go, I'm the creator. Did you know that? And they go, uh-oh, he knows who he is. And, you know, I cry like a baby when I see certain things sometimes. Like I freaked out. I think I freak out all the time, actually, now I'm thinking about it. Not bad. Like I'll have the expressive face like, oh, you're real. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's going to try to touch me now. You know, they're working with me with it. You know, I'm learning from all of them. So it's interesting to watch who's watching us. They said one of my gifts I was unlocking was I can see up the octaves into the other realms to see who's watching. And it looks like a zoo.
True.
Right? Like the mouse is looking at the cheese, right? The cat's looking at the mouse, the dog's looking at the cat. And nobody has a clue what's going on. And I'm looking at the dog going, wow, check this out. And then everyone comes over and starts watching. And then you go back up the deity line. And they're all watching going, all right, let's see how this goes down in the free will world. And I look up and go, it's the dollhouse. I call it the dollhouse effect. And I go, why do you guys look in like that? You're scaring everyone. And they're like, no one sees us. No one pays attention.
It's very true. I like what you said there. Nobody sees us or pays attention to us. I was with one of my students, and he just did the last show with me, and we were talking about shape-shifting and perception, our perceptions. And one time we were inside of an area, and I turned around and told him, hundreds of people walking around. And he goes, well, we need to step out of the way here. And I said, don't worry about it. They don't see us. And he didn't understand that because there was an energy around us, and people did not perceive us at that time. They were walking around us within millimeters, not touching us, anything. No eye contacts, anything like this. And I said, you were in a different mode right now. This is your learning, your education mode. This is the first time we ever met. And it literally blew him away because he was understanding right then, as you now do too, that time and space as we know it, as we've been taught, doesn't exist. It's something totally different.
No, the ones and zeros we're in some weird simulation of some kind. I know exactly what you're talking. There's 2 times a year that when I'm my house in New York, and I'm in the Bronx, and there's trains everywhere, right? So I'm over one of the trains. It's under the ground, and whenever I've gone under, it's like a ley line. Mm-hmm. So there's a time, like 12 in the afternoon, where this other reality, it happens twice a year. You can see them over there, plain as day. Mm-hmm. I have they walk right through my house. It just, different reptilian type beings, and sometimes they can see you.
Yes. And
sometimes they can't. One time they were just staring at me, and one of them was pushing them, going, nope, don't pay attention to him. This will be over shortly. And they just walked. It looked like a road was overlaying my apartment. I was like, what is happening here? I don't take ayahuasca and plant medications all the time. Right. I broke it open because we're supposed to do this, and that's a tool, a technology through organics.
Yes.
Like a direct line to our mother. It's like asking your parent and to have, please show me how to do this. Like, they clear me all the time, and then I go, show me how to clear myself so I don't have to waste an hour here doing this. And they go, excellent. And then a level up occurs, and they show me. And then it takes me, hours to work this out and practice. And then when it comes time to do it, it takes 2 seconds, and all of a sudden everything aligns and things work out great. Light your sage, set the intention in the room, bring the energy in, ask for your allies, just things like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing about ceremony, Frank. A lot of people misconstrue, I'm going to do this and this is going to happen. What a ceremony does basically is like tuning a radio, to a specific channel. And that's what you're doing. Like when people pray and everything, they think they're praying to something external. That's what they focus on. When in reality, what we're doing is talking to our higher self, our higher understanding of who and what we are, because really, our higher self knows exactly what's going on, because of the perceptions of how we've been lied to and masks, shall we say, been put over our lives, and that simple veil aspect, that you can do away with that. People have to understand. The veil, as we perceive it, is something that's been put there by what we've been taught, that we can't see this, that we can't interact with these beings or these spirits or these angels, whatever people wish to call them. And that's another aspect of facing our demons.
Well, they teach you everything is demonic. This is what I was going to, they tell you, oh, it's demonic, don't do that. That's black magic or something. And you're like, wait, what? Like, we're not doing black magic. There's no sacrifice. There's no blood drinking. There's no raping each other. Nobody's doing anything bad. We're saying I love you to the elemental, and he comes in, and the breeze comes into the house and clears it when you light the sage. It's called clearing your energy. You're a demon. It's like, no, we're not demons. We're not monsters.
Not at all. Not at all. People have to understand that. When you're going to start following this path, and this is for anybody out there, I'm going to tell you right now, everybody is a shaman. They have it inside them. All they have to do is wake it up and understand who they were. The situation of past lives and past experiences is a real situation. We have lived many lifetimes and went through many, many things. We're on this plane of existence right now to learn about this level of existence and then apply it into our real lives. Our real lives
Absolutely.
Are not this physical aspect of us. It's that energy aspect of us and who and what we are. We're experiencing a lot here. We have to understand how to break our own barriers when we're doing things, not the barriers that have been placed there for us, and that's how come I like what you say in a lot of your talks and everything is losing your fear about what's going on out there. What would be your first, how could I put it? What could be we're running short on time here. We got to stop here in about a minute. What would be your first thing will catch us on the other side, that you would tell people when they're first trying to take this next step into their higher selves, understanding who they are? So I'll tell you what, let's do that. We're going into break right now, and we can touch that on the other side. WhiteCrow, we're back here in Quantum Quest Radio. We have Frank Castle with us. As I've said before, you want to listen to his show. It's on Truth Frequency Radio. You get there by going to truthfrequencyradio.com. And his show is named Fearless, and it's on every Saturday from 9 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And, we've been having some interesting conversations here. Now, Frank, we were talking about the different aspects of ourselves here during the break, and the thing about you being Horus. Explain a little bit about that.
All right. Here it's a really weird thing. When they first present things, it's very light and it's very shallow. It's almost like cute. And it's like, the light and the love. And now it's ultra specific, right? So I had an experience on the other side where I kept meeting the Egyptian pantheon deities. They don't like being called gods at all. It's all lowercase g, all of it. Anyone that's out there helping you and doing selfless acts of just helping you, that's how you use discernment towards what's happening, right? So you go, okay, they don't want anything from me. They're literally just helping me. They're not using me for nothing. They're just telling me, wake up, look, we're over here, you can do this. And then it becomes, hey, you're part of the team, you know that. And they, instead of appearing to you, they start showing up like the same size as you. Like they're not greater than you. They make you feel great to the point where you can, I guess, raise up to their vibration. That's and then you can look them in the eye. And you stand with them instead of, the journey to becoming fearless is you're afraid of everything and you're trying to lose your fear of everything.
Yes.
It's the way back. So everyone can take this journey back. Mine, they showed me this. They showed me a little thing of it. And then I was so curious, and I was standing with the light, the Christ consciousness light, and Horus appeared to me. And he was huge, and he said to me, I am you. You are me. And I said, okay, well, we're all connected, the Christ consciousness. And he's like, no, you're not listening to me. He's like, I'm literally you. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not you. And I'm not making a claim. I'm just saying what happened to me. And there's this merging, and when I go in with the plant medicines, they take me into the higher realm, and I see the characters coming down and me going up in density to almost at a balance point of meeting.
Yes.
Right? And then becoming one. But you have to learn how to hold that energy. So what I'm finding is I meet all these beings and I see all this stuff, but I also see the codes behind it. Like someone touches you and you could see the 12-strand DNA start to unlock in you and wrap around you. The Kundalini rising around you. These are codes in the matrix unlocking you. And there's so much happening. It's helpful for me knowing that these beings have my back on this level because they put others around me. The Anubis persona is constantly, the energy's around, very protective of me, which is interesting. I was living with someone in Westchester, New York, when my first experience happened, when I had the breakthrough in my house, did it myself, right, and broke through. Yeah. And Anubis showed up, and Sekhmet came to me and grabbed me and said, what are you doing? And I said, I don't know. I don't know. And she's like, I'm coming to you. You're going to know me as the Catwoman, right? So I'm like, yeah, right. I'm hanging out 6 months later with nothing. Back at my grandparents' house with nothing. I go see my singer singing in a different group, and the couple that's taking me invites a girl. Her name is Paula. She's my co-host. She jumps in the car. She's like, oh, I know your brother. he makes fun of me all the time. And she does an impersonation of him making fun of her being the cat woman because she feeds all the cats on the block. And then she's like, hey, buddy. She touches my chin hair and goes, what a beard is that? She's like, let me touch it. And she touched it, and I have not left her side ever since. And when we drank together, she was my Egyptian wife.
Mm-hmm.
And the same conversations of, it would be considered conspiracy, William. In many lifetimes, what we do, they would see if we float in the river, you know, see if we catch fire, shit like that, you know.
Yeah.
So it gets crazy, and I said, but we made this deal a long time ago, love. Like, this is why it works. You're
right.
my code. You're the other half.
Mm-hmm.
The male and female counterpart, the soul family. But the corruption, what they do is they know of our packs. So you have those that have us in the bodies, and then those that don't want us to figure out we're creators.
Mm-hmm.
So every time we find each other, you know, we build the Tower of Babel back, kind of, and then they keep hitting that reset button.
Yes.
Throwing us off into different directions. Well, here's the fun part about all this, is that I claim myself to be the singularity of myself through every timeline, every dimension, multidimensional, universal, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I claimed it. And they're like, do that and ground it here on Earth like you're supposed to. Because we're here doing this. There's light workers, star seeds, light warriors. Like, people don't even understand. I see your soul sometimes, and we're all connected, but some of you aren't from here. And
Mm-hmm.
that's a beautiful thing, because you look at me and you see that I'm not as well. Which
That's
makes
right.
me think, like, when they show me, I'm very Egyptian-looking, Horus-looking, but it's Christ consciousness. And I'm like, where am I from? And then when they show me, I'm Pleiadian at one point, and I agree to come here, and there's a bunch of us, and we're, like, jumping off different worlds going, I'll meet you there. It's going to be the hardest job we ever do, but when we get this done, oh, my, it's going to be, like, the most epic, most glorious.
Very
and
true.
we've lost that. We've lost that childhood spark of, oh my, awesome, right? It's right now it's, oh my God, fear, right? So we have to change that program. It's like an I am, we are program, right? You got to start thinking I am sovereign and we are connected.
100%.
All of us.
And also we have to understand what helps us do that is our personal mantras. You know, you have them, I have them. You know, all of us that understand it, we've taken that next step up in understanding who and what we are and what this reality is, this concept, this perception that we've been taught, and then we break those barriers. And we start understanding what true reality is. You know, facts are, we have chosen to come into this reality and experience what we are right at this time. All of us do it. We're taught that we don't, but the facts are we do. What do you think about that?
I agree. From what I've seen, and this is so weird to me, but I'm with a small group of people that decided to project in from some room into the reality to change something. Chris and I discuss this all the time, to change something that we did when we were here in the past. Because every time I'm out of time space, outside of time space, it's considered, they told me, the future. They're like, this is the future, technically. They're like, just keep that, because it's very confusing. They're like, you guys were in the past already. You did this already as these other characters, multiple lifetimes. And now you're back out of time, and you're like, oh, look what occurred. We have to go back in. And you projected back in to fix problems as a human. And there's a whole bunch of you doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going, but where's everybody else? Because I could see everybody in the room with me. I could see all my friends in the room. I'm like, well, there's my mother right there, but she's my sister. I'm like, okay, this is going on. I go, me and my father aren't connected in any other lifetimes other than this one. That's weird. I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And they're like, relax, you're running the Horus program. And I'm going, but why is it a program? And it's weird. I've been out of dimension and the time space and other places, but not out of the game.
Right.
You know, off the chessboard. I woke up off the chessboard one day, and I went, what's happening? They're like, relax. This is what occurs. You become that. And I'm like, well, that ain't bad. right? And they're like, well, no, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, it's what you do with it. That's what's going to be important.
That's true.
And I'm like, right? So I go, well, we're in a simulation, so it is codes. We're running codes. So knowing that, look, once they showed me, I'm a, what's that? What's this? What's that? What's this? What's that? Like, I'm one of those guys.
Yeah.
Like, I'll touch everything in the room. Any being walks in, I will talk to you. I'll ignore you if you're consistently annoying, but I'll say, hey, look, you know, it's almost like you help others tune in. Like, in my sacred space, when they're here, it almost works all the time.
Yeah.
Right? But all they have to do is just relax. I go, don't tell me I need to see it to believe it, because you're never going to see it. It's magic. This is how the code unlocks. You have to say, I'm ready to see it, and mean this. You have to mean it from the bottom of your heart. I'm ready to see this. Universe, please show me. I'm ready.
Mm-hmm. You know,
and that's it.
I've experienced a lot of that in my lifetime, you know, and you come to points in your life, and we all go through these ups and down periods, you know, in the beginning, until it really grabs a hold of us. We understand the whole concept of what's going on about ourselves, about our journey here in this realm, in this existence right here. And we quickly come to understand the whole concept of what we are. You know, we do exist in all dimensions. We do exist in all times. We are lights. And it's like if you go out there, and I like to use this example with my students, because you talk about, you know, people, when they see you and they feel you, they start understanding and feeling things different here about this journey. It's kind of like you're a candle in the middle of the woods, you know, and all the moths out there are those people that are seeking truth and real reality, you know, themselves. So they start flying through the woods, and they got to go through these bushes and these trees and everything to get to that point. Now, all of us shamans have done this. And then we get to the point of realization, oh, it's a candle. And then you look at that candlelight, and you notice that there's other lights within that candle, other aspects of that flame. And the deeper we go, more truths to what's going on is opened up to us. But we have to accept it. I like what you said with wholehearted. I'm taking this journey. I'm going to go for it. I'm in this 100%. And whatever happens and whatever comes my way, I'm going to learn and experience it and break free from this realm that we're in right now. You know. Well,
I'll tell you, I've been all around the world, done all kinds of crazy things. Was never as fulfilled as I was as the day I reconnected to Source.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So now I'm hypercharged constantly. Like it's like having super coffee in you all day. Now I have my good days and my bad days like everyone else, but what I think I'm grounding and channeling the energies is what's really occurring.
True.
You know, and I practiced. Nothing else worked up to this point with my internal being feeling like a sovereign, loved, self-loved, awesome, you know, love the people around you. Like I never had a pet really, and the ones I've had never lived long enough for me to get friends with them. I rescued a cat, and then just to find out, I went in to the other side, had an ayahuasca experience, and I seen my Egyptian cat, and I was like, oh, wait a second, you're Squeak, you're the cat I just rescued, and then I went, oh, wait a second, and they're like, oh yeah, guess who we just sent back to you. And I'm like, wait a second, that's Boobus. You're sending him back? And they're like, every lifetime he's with you, but it's the ones that you choose to recognize. But they keep telling me, this is it right here. You take this journey now. We're going to do like hundreds of lifetimes of karma fixed. But that means walking through your fears.
Yes.
Purging for your friends around you. They call us sin eaters. Each family member has one. We pull out the negative, and then we're the ones that get sick, become drug addicts, have issues all over the place. If we just realized we were shaman, we would ground and transmute the energy and then get each one of those people help with the plant medicines.
Yeah,
and the ones that don't need it, just do their thing, you know? And the ones that need it have the ability to do it.
Mm-hmm. I think you hit a really important part there. A lot of the people that are having the problems with the drugs and everything, they feel at a deeper level. I'm not saying everybody. Some people just fall into that trap. You know what I mean? And because they have no goal. They have no searching for what they are and who they really are because of the confusions of life. And this thing we call life right here, this matrix and everything, is made to confuse us, because those powers that be know exactly who we are and what we are. They know what we were before, too. And when we come into this life and we start accepting ourselves as what we are and who we are, they lose 100% power over us. They can no longer control you. They can no longer tell you what direction. And they actually fear you at that point because you're breaking down the matrix of control that's there. So each and every one of us also go through our lives running in to those we knew in different realms and different lives and different realities. And we continue running into them, and oh boy, I know you. I just got a funny feeling about this person, That rolls over into each reality we go into. So you're talking about your cat, and the lady you're with and everything at this time. Same thing here. I'm complete with the woman I am right now. She completed me. And you have to have that yin and yang, that understanding of your balance. And once you connect with these people that you were with on the other side, then you start going, I don't even like to use the term other side. It's an awareness of all times, of all dimensions. Well, then you can start to grow by leaps and bounds because you got the other part of your battery with you. And I like the way you put that, about, this is your cat, from the other realm. People have to understand that they're going to run into these people, and those funny feelings they got is because they knew them before.
Yeah, and if you feel someone is like shady sometimes, but there's resistance in family members and all kinds of things. When you see your past lives, you see why that's there.
That's right.
Right? My mother and I are brother and sister. I know this sounds, we're not in this reality, but they were shown to me. And she was a little blue girl. And we fought like two boys, right? And I was way bigger than her. And in this lifetime, it's like she's my mother, so she gets to do it to me. Mm-hmm. And when I drank and went under with my mother, we were laughing about it. Like, oh, look at this. Like, we're brother. Everyone goes, you guys fight really weird. Like, it's uncomfortable sometimes the way you argue. It's not bad. It's just, wow, I've never seen that with a mother and son. I go, well, she's my younger sister. That's why. And she's like, I'm not in this lifetime. And it's funny because the plants provided this to us.
That's right.
They were like, look, this is a gift for you two for doing this. Like, when I say the universe rewards bravery, I mean it. Like, when I said to Aya, oh, I'm bringing my mother, and she said to me, I know. And then you actually have to go through it. And then I said, mother, meet mother. And she goes, okay, you guys came. And here's my gift to you. And I was like, gift? We don't need anything. And then it just happened. And I went, wow, we unlocked right there in front of each other. Mm-hmm. Total experience with each other. Chris and I are brothers. We went through the same exact thing. Yeah. We were American Indian together. I was the shaman and he was a warrior. And he stood next to me and they showed me, and Cherie was my sister. And I was so proud of them because I knew that we were all connected. I was like, oh, the warrior will be with my sister and I'm the shaman. Like, it just felt right. And they awarded that as a gift to us.
Yes.
The universe rewards you with information and knowledge of self. It's not outside of you. It's all inside of you. All of it's inside. Anything that comes to you from the outside and that says to you, oh, look at this, look at me, that's usually not something good. That's how you tell it apart.
Well, that's your ego. That's people's egos at that time. They're not opening up to what is. They're, I this or I that. And that's the first thing that we have to get rid of, when you're walking this path. It isn't about the I. It's the unification of things that are taking place within your life and what you really are at that time. And I want to touch base on something here real quick. A lot of people, I've seen them in relationships and helped them go through their relationships. And you were talking about your mother, sister aspect of your mom and everything. And I've worked with a lot of people in their relationships with their wives or their husbands and things. And they come to find out that they were in the same relationship. They were just the opposite, in their previous existence. So they have these conflicts and emotional conflicts until they understand, oh, this is why I feel this way, or this is how come you feel that way, when they get right down to the brass tacks of who and what they were in a different existence. But you have to take that shamanic journey and that understanding of that reality in order to understand it. And that's where people like you or Chris or myself help people on that journey to understand that.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? I work with people sometimes, and it'll be couples, and then one of them doesn't mean it fully and doesn't have the full experience where the other one does, and then it goes deeper into the, sometimes there's a separation of the two. Like, okay, we're going to just leave this relationship in Frank's safe space, and we're going to go our own separate ways.
Right.
I've seen that as well. And I'm like, well, because you guys are forcing it. You don't, when the code disseminates between the two, love just works.
That's right.
Right? You love, we look at each other, we love the imperfections as much as we love everything else. Like, there is no yelling, right? If we yell, it's usually weird energies coming in, we're in retrograde again, and Frank's been not purging properly, and he got cranky again. And that's when you realize that stuff, you instantly start living a better life. Instantly. I started manifesting money like it was, I never understood it. And they said, dude, do you know how to manifest? I said, no, but I got to get that money up there. And they're like, yeah, okay, no more thinking about money, first of all.
That's right.
Then they were like, come up here with us, sit with us, and breathe. And I was breathing, and I said, okay. And they go, okay, now this triangular thing opened in my chest like a vortex. And they're like, okay, you are never to reach for the money. You are always to rise above the money. And then just open your vortex in your arms, and whatever just sucks in gets sucked in. But look, it's an unlimited stream. Because everyone can do this. Like, everyone gets to eat from the pizza pie. There is no competition.
That's right. That's right.
Right?
People have to understand that aspect. I'll agree with you 1,000% on this, because whenever I need something or want something, I could use this right now. It'd be nice to have this or that. It is here within 30 days. It does not matter what it is. If it is necessary, it's there. I don't worry about it. I don't think about it. It's going to happen. I'm not worried about it.
That's what you have to say. It's going to be, like, we have this thing, right? Like, if it's a necessity and we're going to get it done, like, I shoot it out to the universe in a vibration that I can hold like a character there and leave him in that vibration. And the universe tells me, listen, buddy, don't worry about how I get it done to you. My job is to concede and conspire to your will. Your will be done. Just go about your business, but just know it's coming. And don't try to excuse me, it always comes at the it's always a surprise factor. There's always a wow factor to this. I tell my buddy Josh, it's like playing peekaboo as an adult, but we're all still children, and we keep getting excited. Like, we just did that peekaboo. Look who's here. Oh my God! And then it closes again. Right?
It's a perfect example, Frank. I love that right there, because that's exactly how it is. A lot of my students will be sitting there and they go, "Well, you always get what you want," and I go, "Just simply because I don't push it. I let it go into the cosmos. It knows what I need, and when it's the right time, it will show up and it'll present itself, and I'll have it. So I don't worry about it. It's happened so many times in my existence that it's an accepted part of reality, and that's a mistake a lot of people don't. They don't accept these things can happen.
Yeah. I tell them, I go, listen, guys, you got to ground yourself. You can't just go, yeah, universe, I need stuff. I go, it's your intent. And your breathing and your vibration and your feeling behind it. It's not what you're saying, it's what you're feeling. So if you're like, yeah, give it to me, and in your head you're like, yeah, show me, I don't believe it. You're not getting nothing. And it's going to, as a matter of fact, it's going to come back as distortion. So it's like a distorted version of what you wanted, right? So you'll get the $120, but you did it sneakily, and now you got a ticket for $175.
I understand.
Right? And now you're broke again. So it's like you got to not act, and you're not going to I need that now. You'll calm down, and we'll just get it.
That's
people
right.
People that do that, that's a fear-based thing. There ain't nothing. Listen, you're not taking nothing with you.
Oh no! See that?
You learn.
I love that right there. We're not taking anything with us. The only thing we're taking with us is us.
So calm down.
That's the thing about it. Everybody gains all these treasures, and all of a sudden you pass on. It's still all in the bank. Your car's still sitting in the driveway. We're focusing on the wrong thing, but we're being taught to focus on the wrong thing. Well, we only got about, 2 minutes left here. I want you to turn around and what is the main thing that you would like to turn around and tell people if they're beginning their journey on this with their fear factor and everything? We can take about a minute to do that. Then I want you to turn around and give us information on your websites and things like that.
Well, I suggest anyone that is ready to take the journey to definitely look into reputable people. Yes. It's not everybody just does it themselves, but you have to use discernment in everything that you do. Mm-hmm. And then take whatever it is you learn. Start right now when you hear our voices and put it into practice. Breathe right. 30 times, in through your nose, out through your mouth. There you go. Have a good morning. Go with good intention. Tell your cat you love it. Say, hey, great show, guys. Hey, good to be with my whoever you're next to in the morning. It's great, whatever you have. If the glass is half full, just say, I'm glad I have some water to quench my thirst. Miracles come in different ways and different forms all the time. It's a bathroom when you need one.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they're there all the time. Start listening inside. Run your machine. Don't let it run you.
That's right. Learn to control yourself and your emotions and everything. Okay, can you give us your websites and your show information, everything you need to let us know where you're at, because I know there's a lot of people out there going to definitely want to be listening in after this show for sure.
Absolutely. Well, you could check us out on Fearless. Paula and I do the show Fearless on Saturday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You could check us out there, and my YouTube page, which has the first 12 episodes if you're interested in hearing about the journey, but it's like your first steps. It's the first steps that I took in those. So you could join me. Each person, it's like a fresh experience for you guys. And you just go to Frank Castle Fearless on YouTube, and there's meditations there, and all kinds of music from my music group, Heist Click, HEISTCLICK. You just type that into anything, and you can check us out. And thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm so excited. This conversation was fantastic.
I'm loving it myself too, Frank, and it's been a pleasure to have you on the show. And I look forward to doing my shows with you on into the future. I just want everybody to know that this is going to be on Truth Frequency. I'm Quantum Quest Radio, and it's on Truth Frequency every Sunday from 4 to 5 o'clock, and we'll have it on my YouTube channel too at William WhiteCrow. So you just get a hold of me, and you can listen to this over and over and over again. Once again, Frank, thank you for being on the show. I truly appreciate it, and I know this is going to help a lot of people out there have some understandings of what they can do and their journey in life. So thank you, everybody out there, very much. This is Quantum Quest Radio, and we will see you later. Enjoy.